I'm just gonna go ahead and be upfront with y'all. I've been wanting to do this. And this being like a podcast or some type of platform where, I just speak my truth. And I wanted to open that up I wanted it so much that I was willing to open it up to, friends and family. And just, I kind of gave the idea or shared the idea with friends and family, and it just never came to fruition, at least the way that I would have liked it. And so I've contemplated just doing this or not doing it at all. I usually have a lot to say. People who know me or who have come across my path know that I have a lot to say about a lot of things. Some may say that I think I know it all. I don't think I know it all. I just say my part, how I feel. And I like to, speak my mind. And sometimes when people are bold enough, or people who are close to me and love me, sometimes they have to tell me, you really didn't have to say anything, or Ebony, you're speaking out of turn, or I just don't want to hear that right now. Like, Ebony, be quiet. But I figured that if I have a platform like this where I can just say what's on my mind, it's either take it or leave it, right? So I say what I need to say, and people who agree with me will agree with me. Those who do not agree with me won't, and those who probably have never thought of this perspective will chew on it a bit, and then they'll decide later whether or not they want to rock with what I said or my views or whatever. But either way, it's okay with me. So I just said, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get on here, I'm going to be who I am, and I'm going to share my views on whatever and whenever. And hopefully I can get some dialogue out of people. Maybe you all can give me feedback on my content. I'm not trying to create a YouTube channel right now. Or podcast right now. I just want to put some content out there with substance and see what I get back. See if people rocking with it. Figure out what my followers actually want to see and want to hear, and from me. And that's how I want to be of service to people. So a lot of times people hit me up and want to ask for my advice. Sometimes I offer it when it's unsolicited. But yeah, so I feel like I'm in a space where I can share my journey and maybe help people because I'm in a very awkward stage in my life. Not really sure which direction to take because there's just so many options, so many different influences, and so many distractions, right? And so I feel like this is something that I can actually focus my attention on, and it could be like my digital diary, I've done this in the past where I've gone through things like certain points in my life, y'all, where I will pick up my phone and I will turn on the camera and I will cry. I will tell a story, what happened that day and how it made me feel, and just very detailed stories, but I wouldn't upload them. And that was something that I was doing in the beginning stages of therapy, when I started therapy. And it would work, it would make me feel better. And so I had stumbled across a few of them recently, and I was watching them and I was like, oh my gosh, like that was a rough time. That was a rough patch, baby girl, and I'm glad you made it through. But I'm not ashamed to share that with y'all. So I don't think it would be necessary for me to share that footage now. I mean, maybe I'll pull it out and share it, because somebody is probably at that point right now where I was then. Somebody is probably there, and I feel like it would be useful and helpful for someone to be able to see that. So I may share that in the future. That was just an intro of what I plan to do with this, and hopefully you all are open to hearing me speak. So if you don't know, I am the owner of Eyes Like Venice Sunwear, and so right now I am a sunglass line exclusively, but in the very, very near future, I will have other merchandise as well. And so I'm working with a couple of people to actually bring my vision to life, and it's taking a while. I've been having like ups and downs of like feeling like, am I wasting my time? Should I be working on something else? I have so many other ideas. Should I really be focusing so much time into ELV and so much money? But every time I have an event or that I'm working, or I go to a networking experience, I am shown that no, this is what I should be doing, and it's not a waste of time, nor is it a waste of money. People see me. People recognize me when I go out too, and it's kind of refreshing, because it's like, okay, you guys are actually, seeing what I work so hard to give you all. Because y'all, I spend so much time with ELV. I really do. Like the whole concept, like I came up with. So I take all of my pictures, I edit all of the pictures, I do all of my graphics, like all of it. I do all of it. And so it's very time consuming, and it can be a little overwhelming when I don't feel that I'm getting the type of response that I'm looking for right away. But I always get that response when I least expect it. So that's always a good feeling. But I do want to say that being an entrepreneur is not easy. Like on my business page, I follow a lot of other businesses and like motivational pages and things like that, just to inspire me and just kind of keep me focused. And since that's the algorithm, that's something that I'm looking at constantly, when I'm on my personal page, I'm actually starting to see it too, because it's kind of like spilling over to my personal page. And so I'm seeing like a lot of posts about becoming an entrepreneur. And so I saw this one post where it had a breakdown of how your day should be broken down or utilized when you're trying to make money, like when you're trying to have like residual income. And from like 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. it says that you should be exercising, reading, meditating, and planning, right? And then from like, it was like a gap, right? And then it says from 10 to 5 a.m. you should be like working on your dream and like doing all of these other things. And so that leaves 12 to 9:59, right, at night, or 12 in the afternoon to 9:59 at night. And I'm like, these types of posts are just not conducive to the individual who is still conceptualizing their job, their self-employed job or their vision in their head, and they're thinking like this is how life is supposed to go if you want that to happen, if you want to be an entrepreneur. Because you know what most people are doing 9 to 12, especially on a weekday, they on somebody else's clock, and they was probably there at 8 a.m. They was probably there at 8 a.m. right? And so at 12, by 12 o'clock, they are about to take their 30-minute to an hour lunch. And so that is just not ideal for somebody who wants to become an entrepreneur. But they see that and they're like, well, that's not me. That's not something that I could actually attain, at least not right now. And so now they're thinking, on their job, they're like, man, I shouldn't be here. I could be working on my craft. But what funds will you have to actually fund your business, that vision that you have, because that costs money as well. So I try to like weed through these types of posts because they can kind of like divert you. And so I get worked up sometimes because I'll read something like this motivational page, or I'll see some self-made mogul or entrepreneur that has found like a scheme, like a skill that they can actually package and sell to people, right? And they're like, well, this week I'm gonna make this much money, and next week I'm gonna make this much money because I have come up with this system, or this something that I can teach people, and I packaged it and people are buying it. And that isn't an issue. That isn't a problem, especially if you have results. But a lot of times people just need the space to actually plan it without all of the expectations, because everybody's journey isn't the same. It's not the same because everybody's vision isn't the same. Everybody's purpose isn't the same. What people have to offer the world is not the same. So the way that they make it happen, the way that they bring it to life is not going to be the same. So that's something that I've also, had to remind myself, and I constantly have to remind myself of that also. Honestly, I don't feel like people really take what I do seriously. Excuse me, sometimes, especially like on social media, because I haven't really been like a big social media person. So like when I'm coming up with my craft, I just feel like, I'm going to be completely honest, I feel like in the beginning, my posts and things like that were very generic because I didn't really know my audience. I didn't know who I was trying to target. But now I'm starting to know my audience, going to these different pop-up shops, when I'm interacting with my customers and clientele, my repeat customers, like people who actually continue to come back to me and purchase frames like on demand. I'm learning their age group, and so they require different things. I now know that social media is just kind of like my way of saying, hey, I'm still out here. But that's not where my clientele comes from. It really doesn't. My clientele doesn't come from that. I have a website where people actually use my website, but I get more sales when I have like one-on-one interaction. So that lets me know that as long as I can touch people, if I can come in contact with people, I'm going to make money. I'm going to make the money. Good money. I am. Because people actually like to interact with me. Like people buy into me, like the real me. And so just to go on a tangent, but not really a tangent, that's why I actually wanted to do this, because people really rock with me. They really do. When they get a chance to meet me and talk to me, they actually see that I'm a real person. And that's what people buy into. People buy into the person, and then when that person that they buy into has a product, then they buy the product. You can't force anybody to buy your product. You just can't. Especially things like sunglasses, because people don't need sunglasses. They don't need sunglasses. They want sunglasses. So since I know that, since I understand that, and I'm not living in some bubble where I'm like, oh, this is people just gonna spend money on this. I respect people's minds, and I know that you don't need these glasses, but they're fly. You can add them to your collection. It's something that when you have them and you're wearing them, people see them and they compliment you. Now it's a conversation piece, because that's how it is for me. So if I can actually interact with people on that level, then I'm always gonna make the sale. So for those who haven't started their business yet, or have started their business and they don't understand why things aren't happening, clientele isn't where they want them to be, they just kind of feel stagnant, I just say keep doing you, but be authentic. Just be authentic. And it's really not hard to be authentic. My light just went off. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'm back. And it's really not hard to be authentic when you know who you are. But that's a totally different conversation. So we'll save that for another day. But yeah, so be authentic, be you, and stay committed. Stay committed to your vision. Even when other people not supporting you, it's gonna be hard. Y'all, one last thing, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. It got to a point where in my business account, because I had bought like so many supplies and all of this, it had got to the point where I had $7.23 in my account, and I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? Like, I still have bills to pay. Like, I still have bills for my business to pay that come monthly. I had one pop-up shop. One pop-up shop selling my glasses. I made over $300 in just like maybe 2 hours. Over $300 in cash. I had my card reader as well, and my Cash App. Stay committed, y'all. Stay committed. Stay focused. Keep your eyes on the prize. Continue to cultivate your vision. It's not gonna be easy. It's not. It's still not easy for me. It's not. And I still get a little discouraged. But just know that you're not doing this in vain. When you saw this vision, or when you saw that this was something that you could actually do and make happen, you saw that for a reason. You went through all of that work. You done went and got your LLC. You done went and got your logo trademarked. You done went and opened up your bank account. You done invested money from your day job, your actual job, right? Well, both of them are your jobs, but the one that got the most consistent money coming in right now, right? You've invested some of that money into your vision. Don't give up. Don't give up. We're not gonna give up. People are watching you, and they got people rooting for you, and they got people waiting for you to fail, waiting for your vision to fail. And it could be for a multitude of reasons. But usually the ones that want you to fail are the ones that don't have business of their own, don't have vision of their own, or don't have the wherewithal to actually bring their vision to life. So you owe it to yourself to keep pushing, because you only gonna be upset with yourself at the end of the day when you don't keep pushing, when you didn't let that opportunity just ride on by. You gonna have to deal with that. You gonna have to come to terms with that. You will. And that's another conversation. But you have to come to terms with that, right? And you will eventually. Depending on how resilient you are, you may be able to bounce back from and be like, okay, I want to do this again. But this time I know what I need to do. But who has time for that? I mean, some people do. People think they do. But if you're going to get right back up, if you're going to be resilient and bounce back and actually do this again, why stop in the first place? But I'm telling you, I go through it quite often. But you got to keep pushing. So yeah, this was a pretty lengthy video. I like this. It felt good. At first I was a little choppy. But for those who actually took the time to watch this, to listen to this, whatever you were doing, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And there will be more to come.